Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more BioInk Redemption in our Lethal Difficulty Guide series. Let's continue the death campaign in the final stage, Terminal Victims. Today's scenario is Death Race 2. Now you've already seen Death Race 1 probably, and it's very simple. There is no recovery, you just need to kill a patient before an AI opponent does the same to his patient. Easy enough. There are a couple of major distinctions in this one that make it a lot harder, however. First off, depending on what diseases we pick up, that will lock out our opponent from picking up the same disease. It's a first-come, first-served thing, and they can do the exact same thing to me, which means the early game becomes incredibly difficult and important that you follow a careful strategy and work fast. The second thing that you need to be aware of is that I don't think there is any pausing in this scenario. The AI will always be charging forward. It's kind of like that that timed scenario where you only have so much time and it doesn't matter. Don't rely on sitting in the main menu, right? Same sort of problem. So if I sit around talking for a long time, trying to figure out my best path, the AI is just going to beat me to the punch. So we're not going to worry about that. Instead, we are going to go for a very aggressive early game by going for head start and getting 15 bio points that we can immediately spend to try and lock our opponent out of some useful diseases. Now, another alternative would be better resources, so you can get some extra points in the early game and the late game, hoping that you get enough diseases to get you to victory, but also out-sustaining your opponent. It's an option. You might also think that emergency bonus is good if there's no recovery, because you're going to burn down a system and get a lot of extra points, and that's certainly true, but by then the AI will have locked you out of so many diseases, it may not matter. So we're going to go for head start. It's very aggressive. Let's see if it works. We'll pick up collateral damage because this is still a racing scenario. We do not really have a lot of time to get risk factors, so instead we are going to go for random risks rather than make them stronger, because you never know, those two might make a difference, also make some things cheaper, and help that 15 points go a little bit further. Recovery, it does not matter what you pick up because there is no recovery, so who cares? For environment, quick collapse, because as always, it is the only thing that ever makes sense. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find out what risk factors we have, and then we're going to go for whatever that system is. Looks like we have... what? Nothing? We got the two that don't matter. Okay, spend the points. In circulatory, we're going to go for the blood clots, we're going to go for the hypertension, and we're going to go for the high cholesterol. We have locked him out of the circulatory system entirely. And now, unfortunately, the AI is going to be locking me out of several areas while I am sitting around trying to grab these points. If I can go for something like potassium deficiency or something like that, that would be good. We could, however, go for the chronic stress, lock that out entirely. I'm good with that. Looks like our AI opponent has decided to focus on the respiratory and renal system. That's fine. I've already kind of locked my opponent out of almost the entire nervous system and definitely the entire circulatory system. If I go for something like, let's say, potassium deficiency, we might be able to lock him out of the muscles as well. He actually went straight for necrotizing fasciitis, which is interesting. Bad choice. This doesn't really matter. Just a few extra points. I was really hoping for a better risk factor than that, but oh well. Enjoy your herpes. Okay, so we have all of that. AI is indeed getting a lot of damage in on the muscular system right now. I may want to go for something in the immune system and try to lock that down if I can as well. Go for, let's say, the photosensitivity. Make sure that I get the lupus and he does not. That will give me some options to do a lot of damage. Let's see. We could also try to lock something down in the digestive, maybe pick up some respiratory, but honestly, between all of these, we may want to just focus on these systems that I currently have and then just leave it as that. You don't want to go for the gender-specific diseases. I don't really see much advantage to doing that. Can we pick up, let's say, bronchitis? It's an option. Skeletal doesn't matter. Renal, we could go for the kidney cysts and try to do some extra damage there as well. All of those things are going to be options. Now, in order to get your first round of upgrades, you need to spend 50 bio points. That will happen naturally. There's nothing to worry about until we actually get those points to spend on something. So I'm not going to worry about it. You know what? Maybe I focus more on the immune system instead. Maybe I go for Addison's disease and stuff in the late game. I do need more points for that to work, and the longer we wait, the more I'm getting locked out. I'm probably not going to be able to do anything in the skeletal, respiratory, or digestive systems. Never mind, he locked me out of that. Okay, and he locked out the renal system. Okay, we can still go for the bronchitis and give myself some options in the respiratory system. And here we go again. Wow, you've not learned your lesson at all. Alrighty. Well, that will translate to some extra damage for me. Nope, never mind. Nothing. The partner was healthy. I like, by the way, that the odds are pretty darn good that the partner is diseased in some way. Like, the odds of you picking up an STD are significantly higher than not. That's how it works. Anyway, this honestly might be enough just to finish this patient off if we work fast. So I may not actually worry about anything else. We may just continue working on, let's say, the circulatory system and try to burn everything down. I'm going to see if there's any other options. We could go for diabetes. Don't care about gastroenteritis. Can't do anything there. Can't do much there. Can continue with the nervous. Can't do that. We can continue with the muscular. Okay. So let's go for the deep vein thrombosis. We're going to try to pick up something like post-lipidic syndrome would be pretty good. Pulmonary embolism, a stroke would certainly be good as well. There's a lot of options for us if you go for circulatory and lock that down first. And if you do follow my strategy and get the head start, then I think that's probably going to be your best bet. And to that extent, I may want to go for the stroke first, since we actually are doing damage in both of those systems, and try to get a domino effect between the two. That might be my best option, so let's save up some points and do exactly that. The fact that the AI opponent decided to go for necrotizing fasciitis rather than lock me out of some systems is going to be a little bit of an advantage. He is already burning the crud out of the renal system, though. So he's going to start getting a domino effect well before I do, which does concern me quite a bit. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get a lot of extra points because I don't have the better resources. We really put all of our eggs in one basket, trying to go for the extra 15 points there. I may have no choice but to go for the post-lipidic, kind of depending on how many points they give me right now. And it looks like they're not going to be kind and give me much more. So you know what? We are going to go for the post-lipidic. I'm going to try to burn down the muscular system and the circulatory system at the same time. We could go for 20% extra resources, which I do think that upgrades are going to be quite a good option in this scenario. So we definitely want to do that. So I'll go ahead and use these points on exactly that first. Blue's more important. Grab. Okay. Go for an extra 20% resources. For the next one, we need to have risk factors. This one's going to be a little bit of a tough sell for me because somehow I have to race the opponent while also getting risk factors, which, by the way, the opponent can also lock you out of, which is a bit of a pain. We could go for some things to make muscular and circulatory both weaker, though, so sedentary makes a lot of sense. That'll let me kind of burn things down a wee bit faster, so that's a good one. Renal system's down to 29. I'm about 38 on muscular, but we also have 44 on our circulatory, so we might actually be ahead of him right now, albeit not by a whole lot. We'll see. If I wanted to get... So, getting the extra 2 risk factors at the beginning of the game is going to make this upgrade a little bit easier. If we go for one more, anything, such as Workaholic to make the nervous system more vulnerable, all of those are going to be good. The extra harvest power could be nice, and if we go to the emergency room, which as the muscular system fails, we're going to get to next, then we should be able to get the extra +1 per resource, which obviously is going to be a huge advantage over our opponent. So we want to go for the upgrades right now. There's the emergency room, so all I'm doing is stashing up points to try and get the extra upgrades right now. We need, I think, 14? Yeah, 8 more. Okay, so 5 more points and we can get +1. At that point, we can start really ramping things up. Go for the stroke, go for the aneurysm, shut down the nervous system, so on and so forth. There goes one system. Before the renal system failed, that extra risk factor appears to have paid off, but he's now lost one as well. Okay, circulatory system is well on its way, though, and with 2 working against everything, I think we're going to be in good shape. We will want to go for the nervous system primarily to shut that down. I do want to go for things like a stroke or an aneurysm, but we'll see what happens. We may not need to. The circulatory system's kind of already doing its thing. That said, the stroke is really quite good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's just continue generating points for the moment. 18 right now. I think we need like 22. Circulatory system has failed, and we don't have to worry about these things regenerating, which is very helpful. I will definitely tell you that. Let's go ahead and grab you. There we go. Okay. Let's go for the stroke. Shut that down a little bit faster. I cannot do an aneurysm without getting some... what am I trying to say? Without getting a risk factor for that. I can't remember which one it is. So the aneurysm's not going to happen. Never mind about that one. Let's instead go to the nervous system and start working on... We could go to epileptic seizures, which is actually really good against the nervous system. So let's go ahead and do that. There it goes. Nervous system's gone. We have 3 down. He has 1, which means we have a significant advantage right now. We can focus on anything. Probably the immune or the respiratory system would make the most sense. If I can go for lupus at 17 points, that'd be fine. Alternatively, we can go for chronic bronchitis and then pneumothorax. All of those are going to be good. Down to 28% health. We actually, I forgot to mention also, not only do we have to get the health all the way down, we have to terminate all systems. It's one of those. So there's actually 3 different mechanics that you have to be worrying about in this scenario, and they don't exactly tell you that up front, which I find slightly irritating. And if you do get locked out entirely out of, let's say, the renal system, which I was, then it kind of gets a little hard to finish off a system. and win this scenario. That's one of the reasons you really want to have the extra collateral damage. You want to be having as many of these systems failing and domino affecting as possible. Let's go for the lupus, which is going to make the renal and immune system start to shut down, both of which I need. There goes the immune. Renal will not be long for this world, followed by respiratory. And that should be fine with skeletal and digestive, even if I haven't picked up anything in those diseases. So we're just going to stock up some points right now. There's really not much I can do here. I mean, we could pick up, like, let's say, type 1 diabetes, and actually that's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. And the last system is failing. Grab the points. Okay, 4 more points for a little bit of extra score. Done! See, it's really not that bad. If you go for the head start and you're very strategic about where you employ your points, it's going to be good. Now, you may want to tailor that based on which risk factors you have. 1, because it makes them more effective so you can get the domino effect going early, and 2, because some risk factors will give you a discount in prices and make that 15 points go a little bit further. So do keep that in mind. It could be a pretty good option. You want to be aware of that, but you don't have a lot of time to think about it because the AI immediately starts spending points. So look at it, react quickly. If you don't know what to do, just go for the circulatory system. There's a lot of good collateral damage that can be done there. 6,882 points is not too bad for this scenario. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Otherwise, fairly easy. No recovery at least makes it pretty doable. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.